Hi guys, this is chapter 11, River Landscapes. I'm not looking forward to making this video. So, what are the four types of erosion? Hydraulic action. Hydraulic action is where the force of the water breaks down the rocks. Number 2, abrasion. Abrasion is where the rocks being carried by the water, they scrape along the river bed or the banks. Number 3, attrition, where larger rocks or boulders smash into each other to make smaller rocks and smooth and round. And then last but not least, we have solution. This is where the rocks are dissolved by the water. So how does a river transport? Transport is basically how it's passed on along the river, and there's four types of transportation as well. First we have saltation, which is bouncing on the riverbed. Traction is rolling on the riverbed. Number 3, solution is dissolved. And 4, suspension is where fine sediments are carried, very small, just floating. Long profile is from the source to the mouth. So how does it change? In the upper course we have vertical erosion, so therefore it is steep and narrow. In the lower course we have a lateral erosion, which is to the sides, and then that's where the river is wider and deeper. Discharge increases down, velocity also does. Cross profile is a section taken sideways, and yeah. So what are interlocking spurs? So interlocking spurs, so we have the valley, and the river, it can't break down into hard rock. Hard rock is too resistant, is hard, and therefore it cannot erode. Soft rock, however, is less resistant, is more easier to erode. So therefore the river meanders around the soft rock and around the hard rock. So the river meanders around the hard rock because it can erode the soft rock, and therefore it looks as if the hills are interlocking. This is known as interlocking spurs, and they have a steep gradient, and they are sometimes wooded according to the textbook. So what are rapids? Rapids are fast-flowing, white, turbulent waters. So they're alternating bands of hard, soft, hard, soft. Hard rock is more resistant, so less easy to erode. Soft rock less resistant, easier to erode. So when the soft rock erodes, it creates lowland. But the hard rock doesn't erode, so it's upland. So when water goes through it goes up and down. Obviously, it's going to be turbulent, and therefore it creates that. Waterfalls and gorges. So we have hard and soft rock next to each other. The hard rock is more resistant, so it's harder to erode. The soft rock is less resistant, so easier to erode. So when water flows over the soft rock, it erodes, and then it becomes like at the top is hard rock, then it becomes at the bottom is soft rock. Similarly, so it keeps on continuing. The soft rock keeps on eroding due to hydraulic action, abrasion, attrition, and it keeps on eroding. This means the top of the cliff, the top of the hard rock, becomes unsupported and collapses due to gravity. This forms a plunge pool, and further hydraulic action and abrasion means that the soft rock keeps on eroding. This creates gorges. Gorges are steep-sided valleys. Meanders. So meanders, on the outside bend there is erosion, inside bend there is deposition, and discontinual erosion, deposition creates makes the river meander and migrate, and where it migrates, that's known as a floodplain. Now a floodplain is just an area that's prone to flooding, so it's more likely to flood. So how are oxbow lakes formed? So when the necks of the meander meet, this means that it provides a straight, more quicker route for the river to flow. So it cuts off the bend, that's the oxbow lake, and it creates salt marshes and vegetation that could be seen, and mudflats that could be seen at low tide. Levees are flood barriers. So during a flood, there's low deposition, and that means that the river drops its load because it becomes too heavy, and the heavier deposit is closer to the channel, whereas the less heavier is and it goes like this and like a bend, and then after more flooding, then it forms a natural flood barrier. That's called a levee. An estuary is where fresh water meets salt water, is where the river meets the mouth, aka the ocean, river meets the ocean or the sea, and there's often mudflats, salt marshes that can be seen at low tide. Physical causes of flooding, so geology. Geology is basically referring to the rock, so if it's clay, it's impermeable, it cannot infiltrate surface runoff. Another include relief, so a steep gradient, more easier for surface runoff, so therefore it reaches the channel faster. Next we have heavy rainfall. Too much rain that means it can't infiltrate any more surface runoff. And last but not least, we have prolonged, so if it hasn't come for a long time, the soil is going to get harder and then it cannot infiltrate. Some human causes include disappearing gardens and fields, so obviously if you're building concrete, then it's impermeable, it cannot infiltrate, and similarly like deforestation, more soil erosion, etc. Hydrograph is basically referring to the graphs. You can look at the images, so follow along with your textbook. So the one that's rising is the raising limb, it goes down, that's a falling limb. The peak discharge to the peak rainfall, that's known as the lag time. Hard engineering techniques, I'm not going to go over the benefits and the disadvantages, but I'm just going to go over their names. So we have dams and reservoirs, which are basically, dams are basically stone walls, reservoirs are artificial lakes. Embankments, we have channel straightening and flood relief channel. Soft include planting trees. Flood warnings, which not everyone has access to. Floodplain zoning, which is basically protecting the area, so you're not allowed to build on it, and so that means less people will ask for insurance. Other include river restoration and preparation, and yeah, that's all your rivers complete and your case study obviously, but I'm not going to go over case studies yet, but that's all it done.